Welcome back. Let's continue to this now. The Department of Justice and Constitutional Development has fired 27 officials for various forms of misconduct. These include fraud, theft and sexual harassment. Department of Justice spokesperson Kgalalelo Masibi joins me now for a discussion. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time this afternoon. So we understand that these dismissals are part of 81 appeal matters. Just talk to us about just how long a process this was that led to the dismissals and, of course, a breakdown of the most serious offences.
It has been quite a lengthy process because when these misconduct or cases of misconduct were received, they came from various sources. The department received asked police and also complaints from the members of the public. And upon receiving these complaints, the forensic audit unit of the department started to investigate the alleged misconduct. And it took quite a while to investigate. And the matters were referred to labor relations for handling, and experts, labor experts were appointed to look into the matters. And these people are experienced in labor relations, and they provided the department with an investigation report plus recommendations. And yes.
How senior were these 27 officials who have now been dismissed, and also just the range of these offences that they've committed?
Right. They include court managers, they include court clerks, they include interpreters. And the misconduct ranged from fraud, theft, sexual harassment, bringing the department into disrepute, to absenteeism, abuse of state vehicles, and gross insubordination.
In as far as some of these offences, we know that fraud, theft and sexual harassment, fraud, for example, are any of these offences, or did any of these offences implicate any cases that were under investigation at the time?
I'm not sure what you mean implicated cases.
Or significantly, for instance, in the fraud case, you mentioned that clerks were also involved. To what extent did these interfere, rather, with some of the cases that were before the courts?
Most of these offences took place in the magistrate courts and in the master's office. There was extortion from members of the public. Some officials were they were charged members of the public money to render services which are rendered for free. For example, they would charge them to issue the letter of authorization. So that was not the right process to follow. So that is fraud and corruption. The action is fraud and corruption, what they did. So that really hampered the administration of justice.
Given the seriousness of some of these offences in an office that should uphold the law to the letter, I mean, how many are now facing criminal charges, and if in fact any arrests have been affected at this stage?
Beg your pardon?
Have there been any arrests affected at this stage, just given the seriousness of some of these offences?
The information that I have is that employees have been dismissed, 27, those that have appealed, and out of there are a few more that are on the minister's table to consider. They have been let go. They are no longer with the department. They are no longer employees of the department. I'm not aware of any others. And I know of 4 cases wherein sanctions were reduced and one staff member received a warning.
While this development can be lauded, in a sense, I mean, this may put a spotlight on how effective your consequence management as a department in terms of your measures are implemented. And it will also put probably a spotlight on just how dedicated you are to ensuring clean governance. Just your response on how this matter and these dismissals and ongoing appeals are really putting that spotlight on the department in as far as how you are implementing and ensuring clean governance.
Oh, yes. As a department, we believe that this action will serve as a strong deterrent against future misconduct. And the department really wants to make sure that there is no hindrance in the administration of justice, and that people must get the services that they deserve, and that the services are free of charge. And there are people, particularly at the master's office, who we call touters. They hang around and they start charging people with the promise that they will help fast-track their cases. So we also need to create awareness to the public that they should report any suspicion of misconduct, and that it will be investigated, and those that are found guilty will have to suffer the consequences of their actions.
Department of Justice spokesperson Kgalalelo Masibi, thank you so much for your time. Of course, responding there to the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development having fired 27 of their officials for various acts of misconduct.